A propensity to hope and joy is real riches, one to fear and sorrow, real poverty. Reading and sauntering and lounging and dosing, which I call thinking, is my supreme happiness. But the life of a man is of no greater importance to the universe than that of an oyster. A purpose, an intention, a design, strikes everywhere even the careless, the most stupid thinker. The truth springs from arguments amongst friends. When we reflect on the shortness and uncertainty of life, how despicable seem all our pursuits of happiness. The heights of popularity and patriotism are still the beaten road to power and tyranny. Character is the result of a system of stereotyped principles. Let these generous sentiments be supposed ever so weak, let them be insufficient to move even a hand or finger of our body. The greater part of mankind may be divided into two classes, that of shallow thinkers who fall short of the truth, and that of abstruse thinkers who go beyond it. It is to restrain others' selfishness that men distinguish between their own goods and those of others. Disbelief in futurity loosens in a great measure the ties of morality, and may be for that reason pernicious to the peace of civil society. Abstract relations of ideas are the object of curiosity, not of volition. Accuracy is, in every case, advantageous to beauty, and just reasoning to delicate sentiment. In vain would we exalt the one by depreciating the other. How could politics be a science, if laws and forms of government had not a uniform influence upon society? It is seldom that liberty of any kind is lost all at once. There is no such thing as freedom of choice, unless there is freedom to refuse. Nothing is more surprising than the easiness with which the many are governed by the few. The richest genius, like the most fertile soil, when uncultivated, shoots up into the rankest weeds. What a peculiar privilege has this little agitation of the brain, which we call thought. It is possible for the same thing, both to be and not to be. It's when we start working together that the real healing takes place, it's when we start spilling our sweat, and not our blood. Beauty is no quality in things themselves, it exists merely in the mind, which contemplates them. Each mind perceives a different beauty. Never literary attempt was more unfortunate than my treatise of human nature. It fell dead born from the press. But such is the nature of the human mind, that it always lays hold on every mind that approaches it. The great end of all human industry is the attainment of happiness. It is, therefore, a just political maxim, that every man must be supposed a knave. To philosopher and historian the madness and imbecile wickedness of mankind ought to appear ordinary events. Heaven and hell suppose two distinct species of men, the good and the bad. But the greatest part of mankind float betwixt vice and virtue. It is an absurdity to believe that the deity has human passions, and one of the lowest of human passions, a restless appetite for applause. Hypothetical liberty is allowed to everyone, who is not a prisoner, and in chains. Be a philosopher, but, amidst all your philosophy, be still a man. A wise man proportions his belief to the evidence. Generally speaking, the errors in religion are dangerous, those in philosophy only ridiculous. The memory, senses, and understanding are, therefore, all of them founded on the imagination, or the vivacity of our ideas. To hate to love, to think to feel, to see, all this is nothing but to perceive. Human nature is the only science of man, and yet has been hitherto the most neglected. 'Tis not unreasonable for me to prefer the destruction of the whole world to the scratching of my finger. Judgments. A mistake, therefore, of right may become a species. A man who hides himself confesses as evidently the superiority of his enemy as another who fairly delivers his arms. Reason is, and ought only to be, the slave of the passions. We speak not strictly and philosophically when we talk of the combat of passion and of reason.